Folks, I'm here today to apologize. I've done something terribly wrong. Very, very wrong. Something that I know is wrong, and I'm deeply regretful for it. I made a big mistake, and I treated people in a way that I shouldn't have. Um, Look at my army. Just look at this. Look what I did. All right, so we were playing an FFA on stream, and it was a themed army, and I picked Tilakwa, and I took an absolute, cheesy, cancerous Pterodon Rider build with the great flying skink known as Tic-Tac-Toe. Interesting fact, Tic-Tac-Toe is one of the few campaigns that I have never played in Total War Warhammer 2. One of the ones that I want to get to. There's so many things that I want to do in Warhammer 2, and it's funny I say there's not enough time. It's not because we aren't waiting long enough for Warhammer 3, but it's mostly because, there's just too much to do in my day-to-day life for me to actually get to it all. So yes, anyway, as I said, I picked Tilakwa and Tic-Tac-Toe, so I went with 5 Chameleon Skinks because you do have to have some force on the ground. And then I've got several Pterodon Riders, one of which is the Poha Sentinels. Or, sorry, did I say several? Because I meant 4. Then I've got a Ripperdactyl Rider and the Colossedon Hunters supporting Tic-Tac-Toe on his own Pterodon. So that is going to be my themed army. The Skaven have a Pew Pew themed army, which has just become commonplace for Skaven, and who doesn't, right? It's the way they should be played. I guess there's other ways to play Skaven, but in my mind, this is the only one way to play the Skaven. It's going to be Warplock Jezzails, Rattling Guns, Warp Fire Throwers, and just a line of Slave Slingers up front, so nothing but ranged pew-pew, along with Ikit Claw, who also has his own style of short-range pew-pew. And then that's going to be put up against another themed army of, giant undead ships, the sinews of which are made out of leftover body parts and reanimated fibers. I don't know, it's very strange, but we're going to have 4 Necrofex Colossi, and one of them is the Gallows Giant, I believe is the name of it. Yes! So we got the Gallows Giant, and of course that means that Count Noctilus is here riding atop of his own Necrofex. He's got the Shade Wraiths and some Sirens, and there's also going to be some zombie pirate gunnery mobs. So a very Necrofex-centric army for Noctilus. Sorry, I don't know why I lost his name there. All of a sudden, I'm just laughing at how many Necrofex there are. And speaking of bringing the memes, here comes Teclis, also bringing his new memery, which is the Teclis Phoenix build. It's going to be Teclis on a Phoenix, a Flamespire Phoenix, a Frostheart Phoenix, and Phoenix Guard. Did you get enough Phoenix there? Maybe if you're also living in Phoenix, Arizona, you will be able to complete the trifecta of Phoenix. He does have an Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, but I guess at least the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower has talons, kind of like a Phoenix, and is maybe just a more standard version. And then he's got his Noble here also on an Eagle. So everything very bird-related in that army. And then this is also my Skink Priest heading back this way. So let's hit play and check out what happens in the battle. Obviously, I deployed behind Skaven. Deploying behind an undead force of Necrofex would not have been in my best interest, or just any undead force. And so I deployed behind the Skaven, knowing that the Skaven would have the lowest leadership. So not only did I bring an absolutely disgusting army, it was a somewhat disgusting tactic. And this Skaven player is unfortunately going to be the recipient of my flying cancerous army here. So you can see it happening. The Necrofex are also firing, and I think I've caught the Skaven player quite off guard here, having deployed everything behind him. My Chameleon Skinks are also going to get up close and try and get some shots, though the terrain is a bit crazy. You can see nice... I think that one's from Teclis right there. Yeah, so Teclis came over wanting a piece of things early, and I'm actually pretty happy to take this. I summoned up a Manticore because I didn't have enough flying cheese, in case you all were wondering. But anyway, the Skaven goes down quick, and I quickly rack up 4,000 points off of the Skaven. And now I'm going to attempt to try and slow down Teclis. I have a whole bunch more units that are trying to get freed up. You can see over here Tic-Tac-Toe himself taking a lot of fire, but also racking up some points. We're now close to 5,000, so I'm able to take a very early lead, while my Manticore does a good job of kind of slowing up Teclis and his forces giving me an opportunity to mostly clean up Skaven. So we can see that happening here. At this point, Teclis isn't too interested in getting tied up with all my units, obviously, because I do have a lot of flyers. Though, to be fair, Teclis probably can win the fight between all of his healing and his abilities. He is extremely strong when he's on his mounts there. So the Skaven get mopped up almost immediately. I'm getting close to 6,000 points. However, Fidelis Wolf did manage to grab about 2,000 out of that engagement. And then you've got Isidore quickly climbing as well with his army, and Teclis looking to score some points as immediately all the others kind of jumped ahead of him on the board. So you can see Pufflick's looking for a way to get back on the board. Fidelis Wolf does have a few units left, and he's going to be trying to take some shots. He does have some that regrouped near the edge of the map. I'm going to send Tic-Tac-Toe that direction. And fortunately for me, Teclis has gone over and started distracting all the Necrofex units, and this is giving me an opportunity to clean up the Skaven, while I also don't have to be shot in the face by Necrofex and Shade Wraiths, so it's actually pretty handy for me. But in terms of being shot in the face, I am still somewhat being shot in the face by an Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, which is not ideal for me. See it actually flying back here and going after my Colossedon Hunters, not a unit that I want to get shot. We'll need to go take care of that. It has Phoenix Guard protecting it. You can see over here, Tic-Tac-Toe does get caught out alone a little bit, which is not great, but fortunately for me, Teclis is under heavy fire, and it forces him to withdraw. And at this point, Teclis is trying to drop another, Chain Lightning over here and pick up some points. Or no, that's my Chain Lightning. No, hang on, I'm confused. That was Teclis's Chain Lightning, my bad. He didn't get a whole lot of points for it, though. I had a Beast Sorcerer. I'm sorry, I got confused here. You can also see that he's dropping his Fiery Convocation here, attempting to get some of my Chameleon Skinks, but they were mostly out of the way, so the Skaven gets pushed off the battlefield with the exception of their leader, Ikit Claw. I'm going to have to pull back a minute from the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. But I also have the issue that we have to deal with quite a few Necrofex Colossi here, and it's not going to be easy to do. Teclis, fortunately for me, has come in and taken some damage in the attempts to start going after these, but you can see that no real damage has been done to any of the Necrofex, and Teclis is taking a little bit of a beating for his trouble there. So the Necrofex army is going to be a real problem, and I'm going to have to back off of it as well and get out of range. I'm trying to kill Ikit Claw, but it puts my guys in a grouping that I'm sure Count Noctilus really likes, because he's able to get a lot of shots on me. I'm going to fast forward. At first, I decide, you know what, maybe I can go up and just surround him with Chameleon Skinks and get quite a bit of work done. But, I mean, if you take a look, Necrofex Colossus have pretty solid armor. It's 75, which will make them... with 4 of them, it'll make it difficult for the Chameleon Skinks to have a whole lot of impact. And I was thinking that the Necrofex wouldn't quickly kill the Chameleon Skinks, so I was like, you know what, let's come up, let's clear out his gunnery mob, and then see if I can start slowly working down some of the Necrofex. So I'm going to go ahead and come in and start doing some work, because I can't very well take on the Phoenix Guard over here. I could try and go swamp Teclis in the air, but it's still a fight that he might potentially win, and it's hard for me to support that with my ground forces, because he's got the Phoenix Guard to potentially go after them. So I'm going to bring in my skirmishing units, and despite being relatively thin spread and a little ways out, I'm taking massive damage at the hands of all these Necrofex units. We're even going to see a pit of shades here coming off from Count Noctilus. So this is actually really not a good idea for me. I'm taking tremendous damage. He's got all the summons as well. So I'm going to have to back off of this insane idea that I might be able to help damage some of the Necrofex. I do manage to get some points out of it, but we're not making any real progress. And I'm feeding a decent number of points to Isidore here. And clearly Isidore is looking well positioned to potentially be the last person alive. And at this point, I don't want to let him have that honor, because Pufflix is lower in the points. So if I'm trying to win, you would think that I would be letting Pufflix fight Isidore, but, you know, it's FFA, things are crazy, and so I just go for Teclis. I'm going to, like, sling all my Pterodons in here, and then I'll probably be pulling some extras in as well, though some of my units are caught up on his Flamespire Phoenix at the moment. And my attempt to take a quick shot at Teclis is not going well. I used Master of the Skies, which helped me quite a bit, and we did manage to damage Teclis and his Noble a considerable amount, but the Terror kicks in, and my Colossedon Hunters and Ripperdactyl Riders are all basically routed. The Colossedon Hunters helped a lot. You can see we did tremendous damage. We actually picked up quite a few points in that engagement as well. Just, you know, out of sheer numbers. The Flamespire Phoenix, unfortunately for me, had a fiery rebirth, which was very untimely. So yeah, everything in this fight ended up going rather poorly for me. I was able to summon a Manticore, though, and try and keep Teclis from completely overrunning me. Again, the point gain, though, was almost kind of worth it here. It gave me some pretty good distance between myself and Isidore, so as long as I don't feed him too many points, that engagement may not have been too terrible. But we're going to have to wait here a second. I'm going to chase Teclis. The Manticore is going to fall apart because its summon time is over, and I had to kind of fall back and regroup after that shellacking I received at the hands of Teclis and his Phoenix units. The Flamespire Phoenix did manage to come back. I had to reroute it, and it didn't get a whole lot of points from that per se. I'm not sure if you get points for regenerated hit points. I can't remember right how that works in FFA, but anyway, the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower has a little bit of ammo, and it's firing at the Necrofex. This is good for me. The more that these guys trade with each other, the better at this point. The unfortunate thing is, though, is if he gets cannon shots off on Phoenix Guard, he's going to be getting quite a few points for those. You can see that the troop of Phoenix... what do you call it? A flock of Phoenix and Eagles coming in here. And they're going to come in and attack in melee. Necrofex are actually pretty good in melee. And then, of course, you can see this bombardment here coming in from Count Noctilus. It's going to be pretty brutal. The Phoenix Guard are quite a long ways away to support this, and the Noble and Teclis end up getting absolutely beaten to a pulp here, though the Gallows Giant is now crumbling and does get knocked out, so I guess some gain for Pufflix, who did get closer to Isidore on the points bar here. He's got his Heralds of the Wind firing at the Gunnery White, which was honestly a nice sneaky little addition here by Isidore, and able to continue to feed ammunition to his units. But Teclis is definitely going to be worse for wear after this fight. But to Pufflix's credit, it gets him on the board, and he's now in a much closer position. But even can two Phoenix Guard and a Frostheart Phoenix take out what's left here? I was uncertain that they would. I did go and kill his Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, just, you know, for good measure. But I decided to move in and try and, you know, get some freebies out of this situation too, and see what we can do. Because I know that if the Phoenix Guard win, I won't be able to sit around and fight them, and this was really a nice move here. You're going to see a play by Isidore and his Noctilus. He summons the zombies, drops a Pit of Shades, and completely postpones the arrival of the Phoenix Guard, which is terrible for the High Elves at this point, because it leaves the Frostheart Phoenix completely out on its own and starts doing damage to these expensive units and just busies them. Just keeps them very busy. So one Phoenix Guard's finally going to get home into this fight, but Teclis and the Frostheart Phoenix are already feeling a pretty big beating. But at this point, I decide, you know what? Again, it's FFA, so we're going to take advantage of an already busy situation. So you can see me kind of moving my forces in and deciding where and how I want to strike here. Bombardments from Noctilus are just brutal here in this close combat. They're going to get a lot of damage done. You can see one of the Phoenix Guard already having taken massive damage. But now you got a lot of Phoenix Guards stacked up against these Necrofex. That's going to be a difficult fight for them. You can see neither player gaining points super quick here. This is where a Pit of Shades would have just been absolutely devastating from Isidore, and if he has any more, I'm sure he'll try it. I'm going to mop up these summoned pirate deckhand mob and then move in and try and take some shots here at these units, because if the Necrofex die, I don't really have a great chance of beating Pufflix and his units, but I don't really have a great chance of beating the Necrofex if Pufflix gets killed by them. So I don't really have a great, you know, a great opportunity here. I just need as many points as I can to try and survive the last man standing bonus that clearly one of the other two players is likely to get at this point. So I don't expect to be the last skink standing, or the last lizard standing. Skink, I guess, in this case. We didn't really bring any lizards. I do want to kill Teclis, though. I've been wanting some revenge on him, and so my forces are trying to get him, and I'm kind of just letting these two wear each other out for a moment, which, like I said, kind of has a risk of its own. Oof, look at these shots here. Because if I'm not getting enough points, which right now I'm still less than 4,000 ahead, I've got to keep racking up points if I want to have a chance. I can't catch up with Teclis. You can see that he's being shot at because the Necrofex want those kills. Noctilus goes down. And this leaves just the single Necrofex and me with Phoenix Guard that I can't possibly dream of killing. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. We can't catch Teclis, which means we're just going to have to throw in on this fight and go for as many points as we can possibly get. As Teclis does come back close, I do give chase to him because, again, I would like to get this kill. And somehow he manages to stay just ahead of me here. I don't know how in the world he avoids that charge, but he does. With only 464 hit points, Teclis manages to get in here. I'm not picking up hardly any points. Pufflix is picking up almost all of them because it's Phoenix Guard at this point. So Pufflix is coming back from a very early down and pulling his way back, and actually now looking like that he's the likely victor here because I just can't get any dang points out of this fight because there's too much Phoenix Guard. And then, like I said, his Phoenix Guard is absolutely mulching everything that gets thrown at him here. And so a nice late game comeback here by Pufflix and his Teclis-themed army. I guess I did not expect to have an equally potent flying force up against me coming in as tic-tac-toe like this, but if anybody's going to do it, it would certainly be Teclis and his birds. They are extremely powerful. And over here, again, taking one last shot to get Teclis. Look at this. He still manages to get out alive. 123 hit points. I couldn't kill him. And then the Frostheart Phoenix comes in to try and intercede, so I just cannot get rid of Teclis here. Again, another opportunity to charge him, but it fails. The animations and the charge miss there. You can see the Heralds of the Wind chasing after some Chameleon Skinks. And I would love to, like I said, kill Teclis and the Frostheart Phoenix at this point, but they can simply outrun me, and I can't catch them. It leaves me with very few options. My units are near to breaking because of leadership. Teclis, though, finally did shatter. Unfortunately, I didn't get the pleasure of killing him. At this point, the Frostheart Phoenix doesn't want to fight me in the air. They want me to have to charge on the ground. And because all of my ground units ran away, I'm going to lose all my leadership. But the good thing about that is that doesn't give the extra points to Pufflix if I don't feed him the kills. And so with my leadership being low, it's likely my guys won't even end up in melee. I am going to give one last charge here to try and do damage to his Frostheart Phoenix. And he wins because all my units rout, and he gets the last man standing bonus. So, yes, he managed to come and pull that one back where he had a very difficult stop. Poor Fidelis Wolf. Heir is going to go to trial for war crimes. Even the Skaven probably don't deserve what I did there. I hope y'all enjoyed my contrite. Look at that, 58% of his army remaining, too, just because he got hit so hard. They took off running. Poor Skaven. And then Isidore, nice Necrofex build here. This one was really fun. I enjoyed seeing a quadruple Necrofex. And then, of course, my Cancer build means that I deserve all the hatred that you all can muster against me, but it was fun nonetheless, and it was a themed FFA, so Heir brought the heat. And then Pufflix bringing home the win here with Teclis and his mighty Phoenix build. So good game to all the players involved. Thank you for joining. If y'all want to be a part of these, I did have a problem this week. I couldn't stream on Tuesday because my internet speed was crappy, again, after weeks of being good. And that's something I have no control over. I'm going to try again soon, probably Friday. Like, I'm going to do some testing just to make sure everything's working tonight. And so Friday, it's going to be, what, Friday, September 4th. In fact, I may be off work that day, and I might try and stream earlier in the day. We'll see, assuming that everything works. It's all very dependent on my ISP, and trust me, don't get your hopes up on those guys. The best thing that they do is charge me a lot of money. They're extremely efficient at charging high prices. Actually providing service seems to be a secondary function of the company, but they're really good at setting the bar high in terms of prices. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out for now. Hope you all enjoyed this one. I will be back with some more content soon. See you there.